in the Albritton.
Yeah.
Well, let's go on here since the cameras are rolling.
Yeah,
We
before they break.
or I decided, Lloyd said just make up some subjects, and so I came up with today's subject is going to be handwriting.
Oh yeah.
Now I did, as usual, I do some research about it a little bit,
Oh Lord.
and
Research is what messes us up.
we talked about handwriting a little bit in that first episode.
Just a
letter
search would
writing.
be adequate, but a research.
I prefer to go with fantasy instead of fiction.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
I like
instead,
to
of
have
instead of reality, I meant to say.
I like to instead of diving off in the deep end, I like to go in there first and make sure there's no roots and
That's
trees.
right. Wade.
Then I dive off.
Jump
That's a
first.
good
No.
analogy, Philip.
But anyway, I did find out in my search and research that writing developed from the Phoenicians, like 1,000 years BC, 1,000 years before Christ. The Phoenicians developed an alphabet.
Was
Really?
that
The
scratching on the wall, caves
That,
and all?
that was before that.
Was it?
But the Phoenicians were civilized society groups around the Mediterranean basin that developed an alphabet 1,000 years before Christ, and that evolved into many different branches as more people grew, you know. But but before the Phoenician alphabet came from the Egyptians. It came from Egyptians. They call it cuneiform, the little picture writing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that a picture represented something, and if they were going to write somebody a letter, they'd draw the little pictures, and they would tell, or they'd write it on a stone.
Well, that's probably where the term,
about
the
that?
phrase, one picture speaks 1,000 words.
Yeah, I think so. But then the Phoenicians kind of perfected that, and Hebrew and the Latin and all these other languages evolved from Phoenician alphabet.
You know,
What did they do before the Phoenician alphabet?
They just scribbled in the sand like them
Did they
cats.
go like we used to do when we played as kids? Did they go
you know,
Yeah.
talking about
Egyptians.
ancient writings and all that, though in the Bible, it verifies in a book of the Bible where the Lord liked a good cup of coffee.
Really?
Yes, in Hebrews.
Does it? Is there any?
Well, much of the Bible comes from Greek and Hebrew, right?
It's in Hebrews.
Oh yeah, we didn't get that part. Hebrew.
Boing! Hit that bell.
Ba-dum-bum.
Boing! We need a gong. With
Right.
a gong show.
Yeah, try to be more.
But as opposed to writing letters, which we handled in the first episode,
We did.
this is more about handwriting in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Handwriting.
I'm most interested in that.
Personalities can
I
be
have a very
derived
keen
from the way
interest
your
in that.
handwriting is.
I have a story I want to tell if it's possible.
Can we do our little activity first? And then
Yeah, maybe during the course. I do have a very interesting story
Did it have to do with
about
the cat?
handwriting. Has to do with handwriting.
Okay, it has to do with handwriting.
Do a few
Yeah.
things on the wall.
All right.
here.
Now, what I want you to do is, I have a thing here
Look,
that I
a
just
beautiful
typed up.
handwriting symbol.
There it is, right there.
Yeah.
And I want you to copy that in your own handwriting. Now,
You talking to me?
all of us.
Oh.
Each one's going to do this. It's
Look,
like
a
activity.
beautiful handwriting sample. Okay.
And I want you to copy that in your own handwriting, picking whatever utensil you like the best.
Well, ever the school teacher, isn't he?
I mean, man.
Tell you, you got it going.
Yes, Mr.
All right.
Vogt.
It's look, a beautiful handwriting sample.
See, is that an exclamation point there?
Look.
Beautiful handwriting.
Hey.
Sample. Period. Oh yeah, I didn't do the exclamation. I put a comma.
There you go.
Look, a beautiful handwriting symbol.
Okay, now let's hold them up to the middle camera here. This one is mine. Middle one's Ronnie's, and the one over there is Lloyd's.
I could
Okay.
never read Lloyd's writing.
I tend to
Me
go.
neither.
I tend to go with a block printing type.
Yeah, yeah.
writing.
Philip, you're the artist.
too.
so- See, I
And
put
L-
I
Lloyd's-
put eyes and eyebrows on.
And Lloyd's kind of like a form of cursive writing.
Yeah.
You know, cursive is just a form of handwriting. It's one of the forms of handwriting.
Mhm.
Cursive. Block printing is another form of handwriting.
You might could do a close up of those as an insert so people could see
Maybe so. Yeah, I'll say.
Something you might consider.
They can
But
analyze
there
it.
is a difference, and it's interesting, Philip, that you brought 3 types of pens. Now, one of these is like a
That's a
pencil.
ballpoint pen,
One's a pencil, and one's a what do you call that?
felt tip,
Felt tip.
and then this is just a
Regular ink.
This is a fine tip art pen, micro.
Right. That makes a difference as well.
It does.
In handwriting analysis, of
Right.
what kind of pen you're using. That tells
Yeah.
something of a story as well.
This little activity leads into that study of graphology, handwriting analysis.
Well, Lord, I know you got the book and analyzing all that kind of stuff, but
Many book. I've read many books on
back
that.
when I was in middle school, more so
What would you like to know?
than anywhere else, but I became obsessive with a phrase like this. I would fill in the O's.
Oh, really?
I
You
remember.
color them in?
I colored in all the O's when I wrote anything.
I remember when you did.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Stuff was just, I was compelled to fill in the O's like something was missing. Now, what
Well,
is,
you know what that shows?
it shows my
Small
I have a
penis.
Small penis, yeah.
Oh, it took hours.
She screamed.
Well, I don't know what handwriting shows, but it is a way to study a personality of a person, particularly in crime investigations. I
Yes.
guess.
Yes. Well, you know, in psychology books, and I taught psychology and majored in psychology. Psychology refers to handwriting analysis as pseudoscience.
Psychology?
Psychology experts say generally that handwriting analysis is much like tarot cards or reading your palm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The handwriting analysis is not, but I dare to differ from them. I believe that it really has a lot of validity.
Well, I guess it would depend on the doctor, the person doing the analysis. You know, what his knowledge and skill and background. You can't just like send
Well,
anybody off the street and say, "Can you tell me who you think that might be?"
Well, you know, it's much like too. You know, doctors. A lot of doctors think chiropractic doctors are pseudo doctors.
Yeah,
You know, they're phonies.
I do too.
A lot of them do.
Yeah.
And some swear by chiropractic. Like Ronnie, he swears by.
Speaking of that, you know what they call a doctor that fails out of medical school?
No, a chiropractor.
Dentist.
Well, I would swear by dentists now. You know.
Yeah, he can inflict and save you some pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, there's a lot of question on that here. 20 or 30 years ago, probably closer to 30.
That would have been 1995. You better go on further
Probably
back.
further than that. 40 years. 40 years ago.
It's
Thank you.
unbelievable that
Thank you,
30
Ronnie.
years ago was 1995.
I'm going to go take a nap if you guys don't mind. 40 years.
Say, have you heard about John Dunn?
We heard about John Donne. This is not about John
This
Donne.
is not about John.
This is about a man by the name of,
Knock him out, John.
Charlie Briggs.
This story you're fixing to tell.
I'm about to tell.
Okay. Charlie.
I had developed 40 years ago a keen interest in this handwriting analysis, and I had gone to the library and I checked out every book I could find. I had a stack that high sitting by my chair, and I read all of them, and I was absolutely fascinated by it.
And now you can tell us what's in every book in every library in the world.
That's
right?
Words.
Words.
And I learned quite a bit about it, but I didn't consider myself an expert. But for my own personal edification, I learned quite a bit about handwriting analysis. For example, I learned how, if you cross the T a certain way, or your loops, and things like that, what that meant. Now, I also read in there that people who make double loops are lying. They're liars, and you can't trust them. That means, like, if you do an A, if you come up and do a loop and you go around and you do a second loop, okay? Now, that doesn't mean just one time. You look at the preponderance of the work. People who habitually make double loops are deceptive people. Now, this was all just good information for me, right? I had read this, but at the time, I happened to be a stockbroker, and I was getting involved in some deals on some, stock market as well as some local deals.
So you started using the double loops.
No, I never used the double loops, but I had this guy from out in Denver who contacted me, heard about me. I was pretty pretty good stockbroker. He heard about me through the grapevine. He called me and he said he had this deal that was really a hot deal. And so he flew down here and showed me, and it was a magazine type of deal. And he explained it all to me. And I even went out to Denver, and boy, he had hired a staff of people, high status people.
Was that Mad magazine?
No. And the guy came and he spent the weekend with me at my house one weekend. And it so happened I had a client, and this guy, he was a trucker. He owned a whole bunch of trucks, and he liked to do deals with, he liked to pay with cash. Now, I don't know what that tells him, but he liked to pay, he had a lot of cash. And so he was sitting in my house, and he said, boy, I like that deal. He said, I want a piece of that deal. I said, okay. So I said, Charlie, tell him what he wants to know. And the man said, yeah, I want a piece of that deal. I want to take about $100,000. And I said, how much do you want, Jim? He said, about $100,000. I'll put in that deal. So we got the deal all done, and so we were all excited about it. And Jim says, come over to my office Monday morning, and we'll give you the money and get it going. So we went over to his office, and Charlie says, okay, we're fixing to go down to the bank to get the money. And let me just, I don't have a secretary here with me. I'm going to write this thing out, our contract on this deal. Charlie wrote out about 2 pages. And
double loops everywhere.
Charlie handed it over to me to look at, and my throat just dropped down to my stomach, man. I mean, just suddenly, I took a big gulp, just full of those double loops. And I says to myself, self. Look, you're just a guy who read a couple of books. You are not a handwriting expert, right? And I'm not going to kill this $100,000 deal just because I read a book, and think I know something. So I didn't say anything. We went to the bank. We got the $100,000. They found Charlie about 6 months later in Texas on the fly. Mm-hmm. He was a con man, and he was well known in criminal circles, and he was good. I mean, he was like everybody's grandpa,
Charlie Briggs.
Charlie Briggs. Anybody would
He's
believe
in
Charlie
Briggs
Briggs
now, probably.
But you know what? Them double loops, ever since then, I don't care what they say. It's like Nixon with checkers. I don't care what they say. I'm gonna keep my opinion. I really have a lot of interest and belief in handwriting analysis. And having studied a little psychology, the reason I believe that way is because the hand, you don't write with your hand, you write with your brain, right? If you put your hand down, it won't do anything. It'll just be a hand on a piece of paper. The brain has to, through the central nervous system, tell the brain what to write and how to write. So it just makes sense to me that how you handwrite would reflect something about who you are.
Yeah.
And so then, based on that, if you had a severe accident and you suffered severe brain damage, mm-hmm. and you came out of the coma in a year or 2 later, your handwriting would be significantly different?
Could be.
Could be, no.
Could very well be. In fact, Ronnie, if you went back and looked at your handwriting when you were, say, 12 years old or 16, and you look at it now, would you maybe see any differences?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You see a difference because of your aging and your changing in your brain. You can look at a person's handwriting and say, this guy must be sick. I mean, his handwriting is just shaky.
Well, it's so unique. Your handwriting is so unique, and the world recognizes it. Institutions recognizes it to the point of requiring a signature on your check.
Identification.
It's a form of your signature on your license. Any kind of document, they're going to say, signed right here. They photocopy it, put it on the card, and it's your signature.
But I've always wondered this, Philip, based on what you're saying, and legibility always, a teacher taught legibility. Mm-hmm. But
a signature don't adhere to that.
That's right. A signature is ever what you put down there.
Look at Trump's signature.
It's the next.
Watch him sign.
Yes, he's just.
But I looked at it the other day, and it does say Donald Trump.
Oh yeah.
But
you got to push about like that,
Avis does the same thing. He had to teach me how to do his signature to deposit some checks that came for his refunds and all. He went back to the Philippines.
So he's got one of those slashes.
Yeah, it's just a scribble, but you look at it and you can see the dot.
It's the same scribble every time.
You can see a dot and a line for the.
Is that your wife?
Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
But yeah, the signature and your cursive writing, like you did here on this, or maybe block print writing, whatever way you write is going to reflect something about your personality, I believe.
Well, people now, they don't teach handwriting anymore, and even us older people, a lot of times I find myself printing
Yeah.
rather than writing.
Well,
Yeah.
it's got to the point, and like when I patrolled, during my tenure with the Highway Patrol, later on they come out with this idea they can't read it. So you had to, when you made your signature, you had to print your name under your signature.
Right.
Everywhere.
They still
Everywhere.
do that on there.
Yeah.
But printing is not the same, because handwriting has to do with the free flow of data from your brain down to your hand, and when you slow down and start printing, you're deliberately controlling that free flow.
Yeah, it changes. Yeah,
It changes. Now it's the same way. Everybody knows in handwriting that extroverts. You know what extroverts?
Oh yes.
That extroverts write with a right slant. That's the normal way to write, is slanting to the right. Now, how extroverted you are can tell by the slant of your writing. A guy way to the right, he's like, you can't shut him up, you know. But people who write straight up, or even sometimes to the left, that takes a conscious effort. Listen to me on this. That takes a conscious effort. So that tells the handwriting analysis that this guy is not completely straight up. He doesn't. Not that he's a liar. Not that he's deceptive. He doesn't like to reveal who he is.
He's reluctant.
You can't see. You know, he's not over. He's very quiet, and it's hard to figure out who he is because he's controlling himself.
Yeah.
Well,
very much in control.
They've pretty much taken.
That's what that tells.
The teaching of cursive writing out of the schools, but it's coming back. I've noticed there's some. I think it's in Georgia. Georgia is reinstituting cursive writing instruction in an elementary school.
See, I saw this.
As they should.
I saw this on the Rockford Files, where Noah Berry, who portrayed his father, he was being held hostage, and he had to sign something. And of course, after Rockford gets her after his daddy
Berry,
didn't go,
Noah
he says
Berry.
Noah Berry Jr. Yeah,
Not Barry. Beery.
yeah, whatever it was. But he said, "I fooled him, son. Don't worry
Ronnie
about it.
hates to be
I
wrong.
signed it left-handed."
Oh, yeah. Well,
Dad, your signature is your signature. No matter what, you use your foot, your hand.
yeah. Well, I was going to say this. What about somebody that's got both arms amputated or lost their arms? Or
use
something?
their mouth.
They use their mouth or
Yeah.
their toes to
Yeah,
write with.
yeah.
It's still handwriting, whether it's with your mouth.
That's
or
right. Yeah, that's
But
right.
the definition of handwriting is writing with something that writes, a tool, onto something that
With your
receives the
hand.
writing with your hand.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean typing it or whatever other means it is
That's
for
right.
putting it on the paper. It's using your hand, using a utensil of choice.
Here's a good one for you. You notice how some people, and I do it myself too, even though you're handwriting, which is connecting, you disconnect at certain points.
Sure.
Handwriting analysis look at how many times does a person disconnect. That shows indecisiveness.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that shows. And so I guess I'm very indecisive.
You know those
'cause
little-
I disconnect.
Those
a
little
lot.
screens they ask you to write with your finger, your
Oh
signature.
gosh, I hate that.
I hate those things because
I feel like a pharmacist every time I do it.
that's when I just scribble it.
Yeah.
I just scribble
That's
it.
right. That's why.
It takes anything.
It doesn't matter. Yeah,
Right.
it takes anything.
But it's they've lost the essence of
That's
handwriting.
Right.
the
That's right.
signature.
So imagine John Hancock this day and time trying to use a computer with that John Hancock
Yeah.
swirl on.
With his finger trying to.
yeah.
Well, you know, our name, Albritton, that's a fairly long name to have to write. Now, Lloyd, I can write that like that. But when I get to the Albritton, I have to slow down
Yeah,
and
you think
start.
I've always
So I've just got to where I just do an A and a line.
I've always thought
That's my
about
signature.
people who had names like Jim Lee, Tom Mix,
That's easy. Yeah, that's
Bob
good.
C.
I always wanted to be somebody like that. You know?
Yeah, that's right.
Have a name like Lee or,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Roy or Jim
Yeah.
or Bob or Tom. How come, I had to have even Lloyd? That's 5 letters.
Joe or Jim. Yeah.
Bob Wire.
About as far as you get. Bob Wire.
Jim Dandy.
I just think that was Bob Wire instead of barbed wire. I always wrote it out, Bob Wire.
Well, what you know where the word cursive comes from? I looked that up too.
I think
It'll
somewhere
it'll help
predicted.
define your thoughts about
Anything
one.
to do with coercive?
No, it's from Latin, and the cursivos, it's a Latin word that has that root of cursive in it, which means fast, speedy.
Oh, yeah.
So the development of cursive
Cursive
writing
is
is
fast.
because it's faster,
Faster.
How about that?
rather than
It
block
is faster. Yeah.
block printing.
May
and
not
so
be
on.
as legible as printing, but it's faster.
The whole.
Well, you know, back when I was in Vietnam,
That's
I
Apple
got
product.
letters occasionally, very occasional, not frequently, but from my daddy and my mother. They would write me at different times.
Yeah, yeah.
And you could tell by the handwriting who it was as soon as you
Oh, yeah.
saw it on the envelope.
Well, you know, I believe this, and they say that handwriting is as sure as fingerprint, if you know what you're
Mhm.
talking about.
Yeah.
That you can identify a person by the handwriting. In some of these books, they had handwriting analysis. These books that I read of Michael Jackson, and you could see his immaturity in his
Mhm.
handwriting. It looked
Oh,
like a child.
Yeah.
You could look at that and say, "It looks like a child writing this." And your serial killers.
Yeah.
Serial killers, the more a person who writes, that's why a ballpoint pen is the typical instrument. Not a felt tip, but a ballpoint.
It's easier to write with the ballpoint pen.
Yeah, but a ballpoint pen, that's kind of the standard instrument. Some of these serial killers write on the paper so hard, I'm moving forward,
Pressure, right.
that they'll almost tear the paper,
Right.
because they're so impassioned, you know. And when you find somebody that's just has no passion, everything is okay. You're okay. I'm okay. You know, we're all fine. A lot of times they'll write just barely light. It's very light. Very light.
You can hardly see Ronnie's.
Yeah. See, Ronnie's not passionate about anything. You know.
That's right. Yeah,
But yeah, that's why I brought these separate utensils.
Well, he wrote with a pencil too.
yeah, I wrote with a
But
pencil.
and
it's a number 4 or something.
Yeah, they don't count. It's probably a hard.
yeah, it's a hard one. Pick
See, that's a trick, Ronnie.
2 HB. It's a hard
It's
one.
kind of like a lie detector test, where they try to make you think you failed it.
Yeah.
But you take a multiple choice test. They want you to use a number 2 pencil. That's for computer
Mhm.
recognition.
Right.
If you fill out a government document, which I've done a lot of, they want a black
Black ink.
ballpoint pen.
Sure. Yeah.
If some things used to, in the old days, they required you to use a fountain pen, not a feather and quill, but just a metal
Right.
tip.
That's hard to
fountain.
write with them. But
Now it is. We don't have that practice anymore. But that was the preferred method for signing and everything
Yeah.
back in the old days.
That's right.
That's right.
But
I have a fountain pen. I have a love-hate relationship with it. I love writing with it. And
regular fountain pen.
Yeah, a regular fountain pen.
Well, they'll drip out on you too.
It's made for signatures.
Yeah,
You gotta
if
stick
you
it
don't
there and
hold
fill
it
up again.
If you don't hold it exactly right, you know, the ink doesn't come out,
I
and
know,
it can be
yeah.
very frustrating.
Well, they make these similar to this. They call them rapidograph pens that are similar to a fountain pen. They have a reservoir inside with the ink, and it comes down through the center tip. This is a felt tip here, but that ink will come down through this little tip, which has a wire in the middle,
Yeah.
and the wire pushes up and allows the ink to come out. And they got them in all sizes to make different types of drawing.
Fine
Pen and ink
point
drawing.
or medium.
But it's just another method of writing. But I think you said ballpoint pen is probably the most prominently used.
Charcoal on a piece of bark is really hard
Yeah.
to tell what personality is.
Charcoal.
Yeah.
Well, being and having gone through art school, charcoal is for basic drawing. That's the preferred method.
Really?
Charcoal sticks or
Oh, yeah.
charcoal.
Oh.
They have big old thick sticks like your finger,
Yeah.
or little thin ones like.
Well, you know, in the first grade, Miss Bradley, when I first started school, you had those big pencils. Big pencils.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Man, you could wrap somebody across the knuckles with
You
one.
sharpen it. You had to
Yeah.
put it in a bigger hole.
That's
and
right,
sharpen it.
exactly. It was a big pencil.
Yeah.
And you had
I
to
remember
write
that.
from the line, and there was another one here. You had to go line to line. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, when
You
they
probably had her, didn't you? Have Miss Bradley?
I had Miss McGill.
That was second grade for
Okay,
me.
I had Miss Copeland, first grade.
Oh man, no, that's what's wrong with you.
He probably was hit upside the head.
Miss Copeland taught handwriting with that ruler.
That's right.
Do it right or I'm gonna whack it.
With a yardstick.
She was old school.
But they in elementary school, and when we went through school, they had those special papers that with the lines on them to keep you guided.
Yeah.
And
The two solid ones and the little.
I don't think
one
they
in the
even
middle.
have. Do they even have those in more in the schools?
I don't think so. I don't
papers.
think they manufacture that kind
Not
of paper
not
anymore.
not viable.
But that was to teach us cursive handwriting.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's what that was for.
See, and you remember we taught Philip how to write before he started school. Don't
Did
you
we?
remember that? Don't you? Yeah. Philip could write cursive, and before he even started first grade, when he got in there, Miss Copeland just beat him half to death to get him to print like
Yeah.
he's supposed to.
Started out printing the letters, the block
Yeah,
printing.
but he started writing. You know, he ain't blowing me doing that.
Well,
We caused him much strife in first grade.
I'd just tell her, Donald Barlow showed me, so she'd beat him.
no. Well, you know, we had a teacher down there, Miss Stone, Miss Ruth Stone, and she knew all of us. But I don't think you had her. But
No, I
had
didn't.
her.
I had her study hall. I think
Most of us
we
had.
sat in study hall my last year a lot, and she patrolled that. She was the warden in there, and she got around in there. You know, and had people like Billy Franklin and Travis. We were all in there bored to death. You know, or the ones that didn't skip and go play.
You could have been
basketball.
doing your homework. You
That's
wouldn't have been
right.
so bored.
Yeah.
Probably.
But Billy Franklin would be like had his head on the desk like that, you know, and it'd be big, full of people. And every now and then, when she wasn't looking, he'd look up. And
Yeah.
so she'd wander over here. One day, Travis is he's trying to draw her attention too, and he's doing something like this. You know, he's writing. Shows like he's real studying. And every now and then, he'll hold his thumb up like that, and then he'll go back to try, and then he'll hold it up like everybody's. He's caught everybody's attention, Miss Stone included. So she wanders over there, and she looks over saying, and picks it up. I want everyone to see what Travis has been doing. It's a picture of a thumb.
I think Travis was pretty artistic too. It was probably a good thumb.
He was full of manures.
Well, did you have Miss Fancher? Is that who you had for English?
No, I had English. Man, I had Miss Webb.
Miss Webb. That's
Webb,
okay.
yeah. Jean Jones Webb.
We had some wonderful teachers back in our day. Now that we look back, I think
yeah.
just to be able to tolerate and put up with
Oh
us.
God! But
And to
they
also
had
teach us.
the board. They had the board, man.
They used the board.
Yes, sir. Even a typing teacher. Now tell me how a typing teacher would need to be boarding people. You know.
Well,
I don't know, but Miss McKay I got whooped by her one time, and
Miss
it hurt.
Trawick was a typing teacher,
Yeah.
and she'd go down there, man, and she wouldn't kidding. She'd hang that handbag on her arm, and it was like there was a bowling ball in it, and she swing with both hands, boy.
that would give her momentum.
That's
momentum.
right.
so we've exhausted another 30 minutes here. So let's call it a wrap and go practice our handwriting.
Cut.
Homework.
Yeah, hopefully there may be, just so all the people know, there may be a moment or so gap, but it's according to Philip's editing.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can fix
There
that.
may be a
And
gap
based on
or
what we
sound.
flashed
where
on the
Lloyd lost
screen,
control of the audio.
we're all fairly literate.
our audio, but we have audio on every one of our cameras.
Yeah,
so
we're
hopefully
fairly
Philip
literate.
is any good at all. If he's as smart as he pretended to be when he went to school, he should be able to fix it.
I'll make a comedy adventure out of it. All right, see y'all later. Bye, y'all.
Comedy adventure.
I know.